Kena Bridge of Spirits has to be the most surprising game I've played this generation of gaming. Once again, as usual, I'm late to the party. The game's been out for 2 years now. The thing is, I don't really hear anyone even mention it anymore. And that is not okay. This game deserves so much better than that. I kinda knew I would like it given its positive critical reception and everything I'd seen in trailers and gameplay footage and whatnot. It looked like a really fun time. What I did not expect was to enjoy it as much as I did. If there is one word I'd use to describe this game, that word is impressive. Right from the start, you are treated to a stunning art style reminiscent of a high-end animated film. This in itself isn't particularly impressive or surprising. Ember Lab is an animation studio after all. Looking at their previous work, if there was anything Kena would get right, it would be this. What is truly impressive is the level of polish and quality to the entire experience, considering this is their first video game. Everything the game does, it does so well. I assumed it was developed by a veteran team with many games under its belt. Level design is excellent, with clever puzzles that make great use of your powers. There's an organic sense of progression directly tied to exploration. Finding more little rot monster plushy thingies hidden throughout the levels to increase the number of special attacks you could perform. Gaining experience points by interacting with the land. Cleansing shrines that have been corrupted. Standing up statues that have been knocked over. Feeding various fruit to your rot buddies. Discovering meditation spots tucked away somewhere that increase your health. The areas are also littered with treasure chests containing little hats for the rot, or hidden mail that could be delivered to the central hub village to open up optional new little side areas within. It rewards your exploration in both direct and abstract ways. It's also refreshingly devoid of all that extra fluff that plagues so many games nowadays. No pointless NPC side quests, no crafting, no unnecessary extra content aside from the hats. And if collecting a bunch of stupid hats isn't your thing, you could just ignore it and still enjoy the tight and focused design. It is a nice blend of platforming, puzzle solving, and combat, which is engaging and surprisingly challenging coming from a game with this aesthetic. It looks like it would be a kiddie game with big doe eyes and the rot just begging to be merch sold at Disney World, but the combat completely betrays this. Fights could get pretty chaotic, requiring your full attention. There's good enemy variety, great boss battles, many of which become standard enemies as you make your way through the game. The difficulty ramps up as you gain a new ability, introducing new enemy types accordingly. The main bosses are no joke. They are what boss battles should be. A test of your skills that properly implement the new abilities you've acquired. The mechanics are simple and easy to understand, yet their applications become increasingly more complex. Unlocking a new power is instantly beneficial, and the game throws more and more at you as you go along, making each fight better than the last. From a gameplay standpoint, there is such a balanced escalation that culminates in an epic final boss encounter that brings all of its elements together in a way few games manage to do. This escalation also carries over into the storytelling aspect of Kena. Little chunks of narrative that build upon each other to tell the tale of what happened in the land and why you're there in the first place. There's no overlong exposition dumps. The cutscenes are brief, to the point, and Ember Lab's experience as an animation studio truly shows itself here, evoking maximum emotional impact in the most compact and efficient way possible, where a single facial expression communicates more than 1,000 words ever could. The story itself isn't anything special or original, yet the way it's presented makes it far more memorable than it should rightfully be. That is a rare and commendable skill. I had such a good time playing this game that the only complaint I have is I wish it was longer. There was more there. Immediately after beating it, I had to jump into New Game Plus, which wasn't in the original release. It was part of a big anniversary patch that also added charm stones, which are different modifiers you could activate, and trials unlocking more hats or outfits for Kena. These additions make it much more of a complete game, especially with the New Game Plus. This is some damn good New Game Plus. New Game Plus done right. You're not just playing through the game again with all your upgrades intact. It has more chests with hats or charm stones in them, a couple new enemy types, combat encounters with different enemy layouts to keep things fresh, surprise ambushes, a greater challenge. Even some of the bosses have new moves added to them. It made an already awesome game even more awesomer. I could not recommend this game more, and even though it got good reviews, I wonder why it wasn't rated higher. There's really nothing this game does wrong. Looking at some of the reviews, the primary complaint I kept hearing was its lack of originality. Yeah, I guess, but what game is original nowadays, aside from some obscure, weirdo indie game no one's gonna play anyways? Video games were solved years ago. Optimal playstyles and mechanics. Even the best games out there are either derivative of other games or derivative of themselves. I suppose I see what they're saying. The platforming, shimmying along ledges, puzzles, they've all been done somewhere in some form or another. The combat is light and heavy attack, dodge and parry, there's a bow and arrow. Sure, why not? It's not original. But wouldn't this apply to countless other higher rated titles? Why should this game be penalized for something like that? Bottom line, the graphics are gorgeous, controls are tight, mechanics well fleshed out, story pleasant. It may do things other games have done before, but it all comes together to be its own thing. On top of that, it is an impressively polished product that is really fun to play. All of this from a first-time developer. As far as I'm concerned, to come out with something this good? First try should make Kena Bridge of Spirits one of the best games on the PS5 and the start of a franchise that will stay with us for generations to come. That is how much I absolutely love this game. And if any of you out there have not yet tried it, you damn well should.